So today I thought it's time to talk about how I use my phone for travel. And I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with my phone because it has the potential to distract me from so many things that I want to do. But on the other hand, it's a really useful travel companion. So in today's video, I want to share a few of my favorite apps and also a few accessories that help me traveling with my phone. And my video is not about Google Maps or sponsored by this and that VPN, because I assume all of you already know those apps. I have a little bit more unusual picks that I found over my last 3 years of traveling almost non-stop that are really useful to me. I personally use an iPhone, but I had a look and almost all apps except one I think are also available for Android. And I personally avoid subscriptions as much as I can. So on most apps I just use the free version and I deal with the advertising, which usually is not too overpowering because otherwise I would just delete this app. I think there's only one app that I paid for, which was a very low one-time fee, which I think is okay. There's one app where I use the platform, so I pay a membership fee there. And there's a few apps where I needed a few accessories that I purchased, but the apps themselves are free. So I guess it's time to talk about my favorite apps for travel. So the first app that I use a lot when traveling is called My Postcard, and it actually does exactly what the name implies. It sends postcards. So I already use it since a few years to send customized postcards from my trips. It is extremely easy to create the postcards in the app. So you just pick a layout, then you add your own pictures, you can write your own text and you add an address and then you just pay and the card is on its way. And they're actually quite fast. So this one I ordered on Tuesday, March the 18th, and it already arrived here in Slovenia on Friday. As far as I understand, they have a few places worldwide where they print them, so they ship worldwide. At the moment, it's like €3.50 to send a postcard to anywhere in the world, so it's the same price for anywhere. And I honestly think that's a fair price, considering that usually I already have to pay like €1 for the postcard, then probably €1.50 for the stamps and stuff. And then I have all this time running around the city trying to find a mailbox and all those things. So it saves me a lot of time and I really enjoy sending customized postcards. And I think they have a referral link where both of us get a free postcard, and I will leave it in the description. The next app that I use regularly is called Roamless, and it's a travel eSIM. I used lots of different eSIMs over the years, but I have to say that Roamless is a little bit special to me because there are 3 things that stick out to me. So the first thing that I really like about it is that it's more like a prepaid or a pay-as-you-go phone. For most travel eSIMs, you usually have to buy a package that's like valid for 7 days and only in this country, and then it expires and all your money is gone. With Roamless, it's a little bit different because I just add money to it and then it doesn't matter where I go, it just deducts it from my credit as I go. So I really enjoy that because whenever I land in a new country, I just turn on my phone and immediately I can use it. The second thing I really like is that my credit does not expire. And sometimes they have special deals. For example, this year at Christmas, it was when you added €25 to your credit, you would get another €25 for free. So I usually take advantage of those deals. And the third thing I really like is that you can make phone calls. When we're traveling, as we all know, WhatsApp is great. But once you are stuck, for example, in Brazil and you need to call the Lufthansa hotline in Germany or anything else, it is going to get expensive and WhatsApp is not going to help you anymore. So in those situations, for me, Roamless is really the perfect backup. So even though it does not give you a phone number that people can call you, it's really just like all the other travel eSIMs just for data. At least you have the option to make cheap phone calls out of the app. The next app I really enjoy using is called a laundry timer. And this may sound a little bit strange as a travel app, but as you know, I travel with a carry-on backpack only for longer periods of times usually, so I need to do a lot of laundry while traveling. If I can, I always like to hang up my clothes outside because it just speeds up the drying time immensely. The laundry timer apps helps me to pick the best date and time to do my laundry. So it knows my location, it knows the temperature, humidity, if the sun is shining, how much wind there is, and then it gives you an estimate on how long your clothes will need to dry. So in the free version, I think it gives you the next 3 days, and if you watch one ad, you can see the whole week. and then you can really pick the best days to do your laundry. The next app that I regularly use, especially when I travel with other people, is called SettleUp. It just basically helps you to split the costs when you travel with others. Then you have lots of different options how those things can be split up. For example, you can split everything you paid in equal shares, or someone pays a certain amount. You can exclude people, for example, if one of your group did not join you for this meal. And the app then always calculates who owes whom how much money. The next app on my list is called Qubii, and it really does what it says. It measures how often I pee. But before you think I'm totally nuts, please just hear me out. I usually don't drink enough, and on travel days I usually drink even less because I don't want to bother other people in the airplane and all those things. But unfortunately, when I get dehydrated, I often get very, very terrible headaches. I personally don't like the water intake apps because, first off, I don't need the same amount of water every day. When I go hiking or when I'm sweating in the tropics, I need a lot more water versus when I'm just chilling at home. And also the next thing is that usually I have like a sip here and there or a glass of whatever here and there, and then I always have to sit there and think, okay, was that now 300 milliliters or 250 milliliters or whatever. So in my opinion, the Qubii app works much better because it just tracks how often I go to pee. And depending on the frequency, it just tells me if I'm getting dehydrated and if I need to drink more. And I also have this on my watch. So usually when I go to the toilet, I just press one button on my watch and then it's tracked. And this app is one of the ones that unfortunately I could only find for iPhones. The next app is called Countdown Widget, and it does, again, exactly what the name implies. It adds a little countdown widget to my phone. I can see how many days I still have left at my current destination and when the next trip is going to start. I could not find the exact same one on Android, but I'm sure there are similar ones. And the app that I use on the iPhone is a paid app, but it was a one-time payment. The next app I just have to mention because we use it so much for travel is called Trusted Housesitters. And this is the platform that we use to find house-sitting gigs. There is a yearly membership, but honestly, it's about the same cost of one night in a hotel, and we really make good use of our membership. So house sitting for us is really one of the best ways to keep our costs low while traveling. And I already did a video where I talk about how we do it, how we sign up for sits and all those things. I will also link it in the description, and I also have a coupon code for 25% off. The next app is just the normal Apple Health app. And I'm sure you find a version of this on almost every other platform. When it comes to travel, we basically use two main features of this. I do the cycle tracking. So every time I get my period, I log the days where I have it. And then it gives me a calendar with the predicted dates of my upcoming periods for the next few months, which is something that I find extremely helpful when I want to plan my trips. And my husband uses it to track his medications, so he usually gets a reminder that he has to take his pills, and he finds it extremely useful, not just every day, but especially when we travel a lot and also when we switch time zones, to not forget to take his pills. So now let's talk about a few accessories that I find very useful when traveling, and two of them actually have apps, and that's the Heated and also the Qubii. The Heated is just a little I just put hand cream on. So in theory, if I would be able to open it on this side, there is a USB-C plug. USB-C, now I was able to open it. You can also buy it with other adapters, and just a little surface here that gets hot. And what it is useful for is when a mosquito bites you, and when I press this part on my skin, it then gets hot, and that helps me a lot with the itch. So all I have to do is really plug it into my phone, start the app and press start, and then it gets hot. And I find this very useful when traveling. The second accessory that uses an app on my phone is this Qubii. And it's the best set it and forget it solution that I have found so far to keep my images backed up when traveling. So this Qubii I can just plug into my charger and then have the charging cable here. And then every time I charge my phone, it automatically backs up the pictures onto this little SD card that is here. I personally find this more useful than, for example, Google Photos and their automatic backup, because often when I travel abroad, I have roaming on my phone and then my data is very limited. And I often stay in a different place every night. I don't want to bother with the Wi-Fi and setting up the VPNs and all those things. I usually just always stay on my data plan. And then for me, the Qubii comes in very handy. And when I come home from my trip, I just take the pictures, I delete the ones I don't want to keep, and then upload them in a nice folder on my Google Drive. And then this one is empty and ready to be used again. The next accessory is just a holder for my phone. And I really wanted one because for me, the iPhone 16 Pro that I have is just a little bit too big and a little bit too heavy, even though I think I have rather large hands, to really hold it comfortably for a longer period of time, and I'm often worried that I will drop it. And this little thing just gives me a more secure grip. I decided to go with the MagSafe version, so it magnetically sticks to my phone, but it also comes with a ring that you can glue on just any other phone case to also make it compatible with this one. I also attached this magnetic sticker to the back of my Kindle, and then when I travel, I can only bring one holder and hold both my phone and the Kindle very comfortably when I use them. Another accessory that I really love traveling with is this compact tripod from Moft. It's not super light, but it folds down very small, and it also magnetically attaches to my phone with the MagSafe. It unfolds into a nice tripod where I can just adjust the angles, and I can also put my phone horizontal and vertical. So I use this little tripod almost daily just to take selfies when traveling or doing video calls and stuff like this. I already purchased the black version a few months ago and loved traveling with it ever since. And now Moft released a new version and they offered to send me the updated version for free. And the difference is that this one now has a slot that can take 2 cards. Now, I would probably not put like important cards to me, just because I think when I put it somewhere for a selfie when I'm out and about and someone wants to steal my phone, I don't want them at the same time to also steal all my cards and stuff. But I found it's a great place to just put room keys, or when I go with public transport to just put the bus tickets in there. So I really find it very, very useful. But there is one modification that I made to this tripod because I'm a little bit of a scatterbrain, and since I was only able to either have my holder or my tripod on my phone, I would always just stuff one or the other somewhere in my bags and then not remember anymore where I put it. So I made a little modification because the Moft also comes with one of those magnetic rings that stick. And so I stuck one of those magnetic rings on the outside of the tripod. And now I can just also stick my holder to my tripod and stick both of them to my phone and have them all together. So it's not the most lightweight package, but it works very well for me. So these are a few of the apps and accessories for my phone that I really like to travel with. If you have any recommendations for me, just drop them in the comments. And other than that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!